Yes, good morning. Today I'm here at Butabika. As you know, my name is Syria Kokunda, and I mostly like to deal in areas of mental health. I'm a mental health advocate. Today I am with Mr. Ivan Musenero.
Mm-hmm.
He's an occupational therapist. He's an addiction gambling specialist and an addiction specialist. But I would like him to tell us more about himself, introduce himself maybe better.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Ivan Senero. I'm an occupational therapist, practicing for my sixth year. I'm an addiction professional, gambling addiction specialist. I'm a vice president of the Occupational Therapy Association for all occupational therapists in the country. I'm also a president of the Rotary Club of Butabika Royals. I'm also a board member of the OTPT board at Allied Health, and also the CEO of Legacy Elderly Homes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that in-depth introduction. So today I wanted to ask, what does an occupational therapist do?
Okay. An occupational therapist is a specialized medical professional, who deals in treatment of patients, not only mental health, all other patients who have disabilities. Mental health is a disability. When you have cancer, it causes disability. So anything that has disability, so that's the treatment they give. And their treatment is basically activity based. So if you're not sleep, for example, if someone is not sleeping, we can tell you to have maybe a session, you jog around, and then you'll sleep. Even after failing on sedatives or sleeping pills, with occupational therapy, you can sleep naturally. Yeah, so basically that's what I do.
Oh, so you are more activity based.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what's the difference between a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a therapist.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to start with from top bottom.
Okay.
So in psychiatry or mental health, we have a team. It's called the MDT, and the overall is called the psychiatrist, who prescribes the medication. And on top of that, we have another, I would call it another short training. They are called the psychiatric clinical officers. So they also do psychiatry, but not on the high level. So those ones prescribe medication and they diagnose. Then you move to the psychologist. They deal with talk therapy. They talk. So it is called talk therapists. Well, it's in the bracket of psychotherapy. So in psychotherapy, you have occupational therapists, psychologists, counselors. So for them, the psychologists, they do talk therapy. The counselors, they give you options. You know you're stressed, so it would be better if you did this. They give advice.
Okay.
Those are counselors. And then occupational therapists, their treatment is based with activities. Yeah. If someone is probably trying to do schooling and the thing is hard, so the occupational therapist can do an assessment and tell you, you know what, you won't be able to go this far, but this is the education you can go with. So they can do an assessment and tell you can be good at this and not this, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you told me you deal in gambling addiction. What is a gambling addiction?
Gambling addiction, I will start with something called gambling. Anything that has chance is gambling. And most people ask me, do you think forex trading is gambling?
I was going to ask that.
Of course, it's 100%. You have no control over the results. And some of the gambling addicts I've dealt with, they're like, but even when you buy chicken and rear them, you have no surety that they're going to grow. And I told them, here you have control. You can prevent diseases. You can give them the right food. Now with forex trading, betting football matches, you have no control. Who is controlling you? It's the machine.
Yeah.
So anything that has chance is gambling. So gambling addiction is when someone cannot live without gambling. And surprisingly, even when they bet their money and they lose, they are happy.
They are happy?
Yes.
Why?
It's like a feeling. They feel happy.
So they are addicted to the whole gambling feeling.
Yeah.
The loss, the highs,
it's all okay.
Everything.
It's all okay.
Okay.
And that's when they reach a point whereby they don't mind whatever comes. And in the future, when they're about 10 years into gambling, they lose a lot. And that's when they be like, you know what, doctor, I'm tired of this. I want to get off this. That's not good. It's not easy. Even those who win 600 million, which I told them, the people I work with, the gamblers, that you can try to do a cross-sectional study. How many people win 600 million in a year? And you might find like 2 or 3. Yeah. But even those who win that money, it's nowhere to be seen.
What happens?
Of course, when someone gambles 5,000 and they get 600 million, so they can say now the stakes go high. So they're going to start gambling 2 million or 10 million. And after some time,
they've lost all the money. So what is the worst case of gambling you have ever seen or experienced here?
One of the child of some prominent person who gave him a bond of motorcycles worth, I think, 10 billion. Yes. And he smashed the whole bond to zero.
Like he sold all the motorcycles to gamble.
Yes.
Wow.
It gives you a bigger picture, like you're going to win big. You're going to win big. And later, there's nothing. Because you don't control the machines.
Okay. So when people come here with their addictions, do you call them clients? Do you call them patients? Because I want to be clear. Okay.
Because clients are in the banks. Yeah, you're patient.
Okay. How do most people end up in this gambling addiction? Like, how does it start?
It's excitement. When you're excited about something, because there are stages to gambling. And the reasons why some people gamble, according to research, women also do gamble, not on a large scale, but because they're escaping from something. So there's violence at home, so she will go to gamble to escape. For the men, usually, the research shows that they gamble for financing, like to chase something. And the stages are quite clear. They first experiment or through peer pressure, like, my friend gambled 5,000, they got 100,000. So, okay, then you also try. And surprisingly, in the first instances, they win. Yes, most of them, if you ask them, they win. But as they go on and this thing is deeply ingrained in them, problems start. You have no control now. So it's the gambling controlling you. Someone is already waiting for games every day, even leagues they have never heard of. And they want to keep going. And then after stage 1 of experimenting, they go to stage 2, which is occasional gambling. So someone will be like, me, I only gamble with Liverpool. Or someone will say, me, I don't do football betting, I do forex trading. Or me, I don't do forex betting, I do kanukalia. And you see, it goes on. And then level 3 is called problem gambling. Now that's where the problem starts, whereby someone has 5 million and they have a problem which is worth 20 million. So they look for odd 4. And then to multiply it 4 by 5 to get to 20. So they want to deal with the problem, so they gamble to get the money to deal with the problem. So we call them problem gamblers.
Okay.
Yes. And then the first stage is, of course, gambling addiction.
You know, I actually studied this forex trading thing. Like I did a year learning, about 3 months learning forex trading. And I asked our teacher, how can you guarantee you're going to win? And they were like, there is no guarantee.
Good.
So I went ahead and I did try it. But like like when you lose, I would feel like my whole day is spoiled. I am just miserable.
And you need to go back and chase the loss.
Yes. And then you're like, next time I'm going to win. So you go back, you try, maybe you win some little money. Then next you're like, since I won this, I can win much more. So you try, you lose. So you find you're in this cycle until I was like, you know what? I have to stop. Though I didn't do it for long. So I'm wondering,
you're lucky.
What is the difference between me who stopped myself and people who go on for years?
There's something called naturalization. You live gambling by naturalization. Just realize, oh, this is bad, and then you leave it. But others need help. Most of them. And you can see big houses are full of people and they need help. So you, maybe it was naturalization. We call it living gambling by naturalization. Others need real help. Others they're sick, mentally sick. Others they are going to commit suicide. Yes, we've had many of them commit suicide.
Like what? Like, give me a scenario.
You've heard of news of someone who was in Eastern Uganda, I think in Bali, where he betted that Arsenal was going to win the Premier League last season. And of course it didn't. And he had staked a lot of money. And he didn't come out, and he had made plans on that money. So he had to take it.
Wow.
Yeah. He strangled himself. It was all over the news.
I don't usually follow the news, but...
Yeah, and then there's another scenario whereby there was a young man who was working for mobile money, and he was earning 150,000 per month. So this one day, the boss tells him, kindly bank for me 7 million in the bank. So he goes to the bet house because he had gambling, you can get something. And he told him Arsenal is going to win Aston Villa. That is still last year. So the friend told him, put 7 million, you're going to get 14 because it was times 2. And then you can even leave that job. Of course, they give you the good things
you
and all
win
that.
and all that.
So he put the whole 7 million.
Wow.
And Arsenal was in form, playing well. That was their first loss last year. And he lost money. So he calculated 150 in a whole year. That's like how much? Like 2 million or 1 point something. So he needed to work for close to 7 years
to pay off that debt.
To pay the money, and he couldn't. So the problem was commit suicide.
But why do they rush to committing suicide? Because I also heard of an online, there are things called meme coins. I don't know if you know them. It's almost like trading, but it's like a new kind of trading.
Yeah.
So someone can put like, let's say $100, and then they have like $1,000 in a matter of maybe hours. So this person staked money, like all his savings, he put them there, and of course the coin went down, and he committed suicide live, like live on YouTube. So I'm like, why is that always why not always, but why do they look at it like it's a dead end? I can't, my life is over, why?
We call it crisis. And when you're in crisis, usually there's a precedent called acute stress reaction disorder. So when you acutely react to stress, the result is crisis and later suicide. But when you follow these people, usually they have a history of long years of betting, and it builds this depression within. And when something big, like, let me try one last time, and when it fails, it feels like life is back on zero. So what they have to do is take their life. If you're left with $1,000, you're 45. That's all you have, and then you put it there, and then you lose it. So what next? You can't pay your bills, you can't do anything.
Back on
so you have to take your life.
Have you got people who have come here and they're like, I'm considering committing suicide?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is there a way you can talk to them to get them out of that mindset?
It's not only about talking to them, even give them medication. Yes.
Medication helps?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Of course, depression is depression, whether it's postpartum or it's just calm or depression induced by weed, which is still depression. So you have to give medication and it takes out those thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you support, let's say it's a family now, like that man you said his son did that. Do families bring these people here? Do these people come by themselves? How does it usually go?
Okay, usually I work with the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. So they keep sending these people. Most of them, their families don't know.
Oh.
They don't know actually. The problem with gambling is you can't see that someone has gambled. And it's not like alcohol or weed. This one, there's nothing you're going to see. It's going to be like someone just visited. But they have gambled something on their phone. Because people have smartphones, they're cheap now to access. So people will gamble and won't know. Even when he's your husband, you won't know. You just wake up in the night, go maybe the shower room, play some bass and sleep. And then wakes up in the morning and is rude and you don't know why. Because it's gambling.
So there are no symptoms, there are no signs that you can tell something is going on.
You can't see unless someone is like, no, you know what? I need to leave gambling. So they'll come here and then we discuss a lot. Most of them, they even leave their relationships to go and gamble. Most of these border riders, you see that commit accidents. He places his bet because most of them make between 20,000 to 50,000 a day. So he might get the 50,000 and place a bet. Then he has nothing to take home. So what he does is sleeps on the road. He's border. He switches off the phone. I've had these incidences many of them. So he doesn't go home, doesn't call people. The people we find on the road sleeping on their border. Yes, most of them is gambling. It's not that they don't have somewhere to go.
I once heard of a scenario where the woman was at home and they came and started picking up the chairs, the TV, the sofa sets because of sports betting.
Yes. It is so shocking actually. Someone can sell off anything they have. Everything. Because they have this fallacy of thought that I'm going to get something bigger. There's something big coming. There's something big. And it's
because they keep hearing the stories of those who have made it, so they're like, maybe one day I can become like this other person.
And
is it?
That one person pulls about 1 million of them. Oh, my friend won. I saw them. They won this and that.
Okay, so let's say I realize that maybe my husband has a gambling addiction. I found his sports betting and something. How can I help him?
Of course, you tell him straight up. Tell him this is not good.
But if it's like, you mind your own business, I'm doing. How do you know how I'm supporting this family? You know how men can be.
I know, but you have to tell them. Yeah. There's a lady who came, told me my husband. Actually, one of the signs that someone is gambling and someone has a lot of debts. The sign that they're gambling. They have debts here, there. So you have to be careful. Why all these debts? Is there something? Is there a problem and all that? And when you find out this is happening, tell them you need help.
Some people may be now listening to us, some of our viewers, and they're wondering, okay, maybe they're wondering, first of all, do I have a gambling addiction? That's number one. Others are wondering, maybe are saying, I have a gambling addiction. Where can I go? Where can they find people like you?
Oh, I forgot something. I also work with Kampala Youth Recovery Foundation. I don't know why it skipped my mind. So that's where we provide the treatment for gamblers, and there are many. So if you know that you have a gambling problem, if you can't spend the day without gambling, then you have a problem. If you don't have time limits. Of course, these days we are talking about responsible gaming, responsible gambling. So I'm quite skeptical about it.
What is responsible gambling, really?
Of course, it is for gamblers, where we say you only gamble 0.1% of what you have.
Okay, and who is there to monitor that 0.1%?
Themselves.
But if you already have a problem, how can you monitor yourself?
And two, there are those people who want to stop. There are applications you can install in your phone.
Oh.
And whatever device you try to log into, you will not log into. Yeah, there are many applications.
Okay.
So you just completely stop. But those people who say, I gamble for fun. So that's what we try to talk about, because gambling will never stop in the whole world.
No, it cannot.
That's why we're trying to push responsible gaming. If you have 10,000, please gamble 100 shillings. Yes. So I think that is workable.
Who gambles? Okay, who are the people? Okay. First of all, is gambling or addiction like prevalent? Is it like a personality thing? Like some people are more predisposed to gambling while others are not.
Yeah. When you look through the lifespan of people, everyone has ever gambled, including me, including you, people. But there's a reason why others stick there. Others have underlying conditions like ADHD. And when someone has undiagnosed ADHD.
What is ADHD?
Oh, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. They are more prone to gamble than someone who doesn't have it.
What does a person with ADHD look like, or how do they behave?
They have poor attention, poor concentration. They are always hyper. They do this without control. They have impulse. Their impulse is uncontrollable. If they have 1,000, they want to give it out, they just give it out. No, there's nothing they can do about it. It's just impulse. Just pulls them to do this and that. They have many features, but there's something, because ADHD it's like it can be severe or mild. So especially those ones with undiagnosed functional ADHD, they're like normal people, but they have a problem. Those ones are more likely to gamble. And then for the women, those who have gone through trauma, you'll ask yourself, how is trauma related to gambling? It's like an escape route.
Okay.
So they're trying to forget about this, because gambling keeps them busy. It keeps them. Actually, for them, they're not there to win. Few of them are there to win. Most of them, they're escaping from something.
Really? Because for me at the time, I was broke.
you might not know it actually, but you might be escaping from something.
Really?
Usually, I don't want to go deep into someone's life, but if you look into it, you're escaping from something.
Maybe I was, because I've also gone through a lot of traumatic things.
Yeah. So for women, it's usually trauma, which precedes the gambling. Yeah, so they escape from something.
Wow. So if someone has this problem, what tips can you give them on how to avoid gambling?
Gambling is unavoidable.
Okay, to make sure they don't get into the addiction stage.
We are talking more of responsible gaming. I think responsible gaming is now going to take the lead in this treatment. But then we say, if you see you can't do responsible gaming, then look for us and give you help. Responsible gaming literally means when you go to gamble, it's like you've gone to a restaurant to eat food. When you eat food and pay for that money, you request for it back. No, you don't. So when you go with your 2,000 to gamble, be like you've gone to the restaurant to eat maybe chapati and tea, and then when you lose, it's okay, I've eaten chapati, so I can't ask for my money back. So those are the things we're trying to preach to the society.
Okay.
Yeah, but others, if you feel like you want to leave gambling, I know there are many, lots of them. I've treated people from Kenya, and they always come to me because it's becoming a huge problem in the country. I would call it an epidemic in the country.
Really?
We have betting houses everywhere. Now it's on the phone.
Yeah, now it's on the phone.
We had a meeting with they're called the Uganda Press Sports Association. I was one of the people invited to talk about it, I think last year in November. And surprisingly, people don't know the dangers of gambling.
Yeah, because I think it's okay for most of us. This is a new thing. Some people don't even think gambling is an addiction.
Yeah, and I asked the question: how many people have placed a bet for the Kenyans? And these are Uganda Sports Press Association members. I think half of the room had placed a bet the other night before the meeting. And these are and then we told people, don't say they are sure wins.
That's what they say.
It doesn't.
And there is no sure win.
It's impossible. If you can bring for me someone who was given sure wins from day one up to maybe for only 1 month, I'll pay someone $1 million. That
I don't think they're there.
So it is just a game of chance. There's a difference between a game of skill and a game of chance. Even with the skill, sometimes you're not top notch. Yeah. So if someone who is a professional like Ronaldo can miss a penalty and he has played football over maybe 2,000 games, they can miss a penalty. What about you? So even in the game of skill, it is still chance. As long as something is chance, that is gambling. Yeah.
You know, these days they even inbox you. Someone had inboxed me, it's from some betting company, and they have these groups where they put you and they're like, sure deal, sure win, and then they start showing you all these people who have won from the previous games, and you can really see it's just about taking people's money, because they are telling you stake to place the bet you have to pay 300,000, and then on top of the 300 you are paying your own money, let's say like maybe 600, 100,000 for the bet to go through, and then they'll tell you win like 30 million, you win like 50 million, and you're like, these people are actually seeking out people, which is making it worse. So if you are not strong and you start seeing those so-called the 1% who are winning, you may think, oh, I may be the 1%, and then you go into the whole gambling thing and get stuck in there.
Yeah, and there's something called aviator. It's now taking toll of the youth.
What's aviator?
Something like a plane. Then it flows. Then when it flows, it gives you money. Something online.
Really?
Yes, and many people have come to me. They are suffering from the aviator thing. Like, I can't stop thinking about the aviator. So there's even someone I told, gambling is evolving every year. With our parents, it was gambling.
Casino.
No, casino is now recent. When I talk about our elders, 1950, 1960, 70, 80, their gambling was quite simple. And actually, gambling is also genetic. It runs through the family.
Really?
Yes. So like, if your grandfather was a gambler, they used to gamble. When you go there and we are going to win that village and take it. So people would gamble with cows, and then when they win them, lose the cows. And now we went to Kanokachamu, Kanokakolakacha, and now casinos came in. And now sports betting came in. Sports betting is not something that is old. It is recent. I think 20 years ago. Now it comes in. So it is evolving. And now recently we have forex trading.
Yes.
And then Bitcoin.
There's now meme coins, there's crypto, but I think okay, I don't want to seem like I am defending people in crypto or whatever, but yes, it can end up in an addiction, because now, like, when the market keeps going down and you're buying, and then it goes down and you're buying, and to the point that you end up losing
So
everything.
who controls those lines?
Nobody controls
Good.
it.
So it's just an algorithm. Those who did mathematics, it's an algorithm. The way you go to TikTok and you keep scrolling motivational videos, they'll keep doing for you motivational videos.
Yes.
So it's the same thing with those lines they draw. They look at, it's a machine that looks at how many people are putting their money and then gives you, it's just an algorithm. That's why they say AI is taking over the world. So there's no way you're gonna win AI.
No,
if you ask your phone right now, Meta AI, you ask it something about the Zimbabwean president, it will give you the information. Do you know it? No. So it's more intelligent than the human brain. So there's nothing like you're going to, it's just game of chance.
So when you are speaking of that, I thought to myself, these may be ways of distracting people, distracting the youth from their purpose, from their gifts, from actually being present in this world. Because now imagine all of us are on, there's a group of people who are constantly either on their phone or their computers. And even when they are out with parents, out with the loved ones, you can have ever gone to a restaurant and seen a boyfriend and girlfriend and they are both on their phones. Everyone is in another world instead of being present. So I feel like these are like mechanisms to completely take people from being present in this day-to-day life. And if you get caught up in that, and let's say it becomes an addiction, you can completely get lost there.
Actually, we're having more and more disorders coming because of social media. I'll give maybe the viewers a movie to watch. It's called Social Dilemma.
Let me write it down.
Yes, it's called Social Dilemma. And you look at it, some people will just leave social media because it gives a picture of how a beautiful woman has to look like, how a handsome man has to look like, how someone has to live with a beautiful car, with a nice family. It doesn't make sense. In reality, it doesn't. If I asked you, how does a beautiful woman look like? Can you describe to me?
Of course, all of us are going to say she has the perfect body. She has.
So what is the perfect body? And people are hating themselves.
Yes.
Many people are going for they're called surgeries, facial surgeries. Others are going for,
they're like the BBLs that are actually taking people's lives.
Yes.
Because everyone wants to have that Coke bottle shape.
It doesn't. So it is called social dilemma. Social media is good, but on the other hand, it's also bad. So when people watch that movie, it will give them a certain picture. Why you be here and your phone gives you a notification from TikTok? This one was posted the video, and then they hook your mind. They will open and see, and then when you take off time from the phone, you see a notification either from Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. So it will be a form of get back to us.
Yes, your attention is constantly
they
being
keep
demanded.
pulling you back. Now when you look at gambling, they always give you still tips, football tips, this and this. So it's more of marketing. And if people are not careful, they're going to have most of them commit suicide.
Let me just check and see if we are still recording.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Okay. Me, I remember when I was a teenager, and there's that whole thing of, you see girls developing and maybe you feel like you're not looking as beautiful as other girls. And that time there was no phones, no pressure, nothing. But you felt that. Nowadays, it's everywhere. You're on your phone, all these apps we have, TikTok,
Instagram.
like all your friends are trying to look a certain way. Everyone is trying to be this perfect human being. They have this perfect body. And I'm wondering, How is that affecting the teenagers? Are you having more teenagers who are dealing with depression, dealing with body dysmorphia because they feel like they don't look like these perfect people online or anywhere?
That's why I encourage people to watch that movie. It will give you a clue why people are going for surgeries. Why would you go for surgery? I usually ask women, why do you bleach? Why do you put on women's hair from the white people? Because you want to look like them.
Yes.
So they are feeding you a picture of how you have to look. And this has not just begun. Started from the TV shows. So they'll give you that picture of how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to look. So then you look at yourself, then you're black, your body texture is not what you expect it to be. And it's causing more problems. People are going to be more depressed. People are going to have bipolar because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are many things we can actually talk about. Lots of them. Yeah.
So gambling is wide, basically.
I studied it. I think maybe if not the second, the first, or the third in the country to study about gambling. And there's a study which was published by a professor something from I think Kumba University. Whereby students from Macquarie University, most of them are gambling.
For school fees?
Yes. So they give him the tuition, which is maybe 2.3 a semester. So he first goes to the bet house to multiply it.
Yes.
And when he goes there and he loses everything, what next?
What next? How do you tell your
Suicide.
parents?
Yes.
It has become suicide.
And not only in Macquarie University, I've been in many other universities and still the same thing.
So how can these universities find a way to curb this addiction? Are they even aware this is happening?
I think most of them are not aware. That's what I would say. Most of them are not aware, but the problem is going to be huge in the next 5 years if you don't deal with it now. And that's why after my training, I'm going to be the trainer of trainers for gambling specialists in the country so that we expand. I can't do the work alone. So we need to expand and become many, open up gambling clinics, and then if not responsible gaming, then put you off the gambling. Yes.
Do you think that there is going to be a point where we need specialist therapies like you in schools, in hospitals, in businesses, like these huge companies? Because I know people are working in companies, but they be gambling.
Yeah. Not maybe. They are gambling.
They are gambling.
Yes.
So that they have somewhere to go. And instead of committing suicide, you are the first people they go to.
Yeah. Of course, that's needed. Research which was done in Uganda last year in 11 districts realized that 99% people who gamble are men, 1% is women. Of course, that is expected. And then we went to salary earners. Those were earning between 250 and $1 million. Those were the people who were gambling most. Yes. And these people, most of them had gone to school.
Okay, so these are educated people.
Yes, it's hard to find people in the villages gambling. So these are people who went to school. So the research was more evident. Maybe we shall need to do a wider one in the whole country. But the statistics speak for themselves about it. It's a huge problem coming.
Wow. I was about to ask the age group, but is there an age group for it?
Yes, of course, between 18 to 30. Those people gambling.
Okay.
Yes, even have the elderly, you know that is about 5%. The people who are 60 and above, they also gambling. And some of them, they'll just wake up when the house is sold. And judge has sold it and you don't know.
And you don't know why, and they can't even tell you why.
So people need to be careful.
Me, I was thinking that poverty was actually the main reason why people gamble. So when you say people between a certain group who actually have some good money are the ones gambling, it changes, like it makes me ask why.
Yeah, and when you read that research, between 250 a month to 1 million, body riders fall there.
They're the highest group.
Look at someone earning 20,000 per day, meaning they will be falling in that group. That is 600 a month. So most border riders are
in that group. Okay, I was going to even ask, does family background?
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's hereditary. And sometimes if it's not hereditary, you look at, you know, the genes, they study the environment, your genes, and they copy everything. It's like when you have kids and they're doing something you didn't tell them to do. It's like, but who told them?
Yeah.
It's the genes. So it might not be in your family, but then you start it. And when you start, your gene codes.
What?
Yes. And then you now give off those things.
So you have genes of people who are gamblers.
Yes. Yes. It's like alcohol. It's also genetic. Like weed and tobacco. All those things are genetic. Sex addiction and all that.
But people say, speaking of weed, people say that weed helps them to relax, it helps them to be creative. And they say you actually can't get addicted to weed. And yet a huge percentage of youth these days are smoking weed recreationally. So can you please speak on that?
Weed, of course, most patients tell me it is medicinal. But I tell them, what does it treat?
What are you treating?
What are you treating exactly?
Yeah.
But as I told you, with women, as long as it's addiction, they're escaping from something.
Trauma.
Recently, we had a training called Women in Substance Use Exposure, and we concluded it 2 weeks ago in Butavika Hospital. And we had many trainees, about 40 of them. So they trained, and I think they're going to begin a consortium for women because women have special needs from the men. And realize it is trauma behind. Why would a woman use a drug? And then we found out that because of their periods, most of them start from there. They take opioids, which are painkillers. Yes. Painkillers. Okay. And they start from Panadol, then they go on elevating on.
Because the medication they're taking no longer works, so they go for a higher dose.
They keep on going for, not higher doses, different medications which are stronger. Effect, yeah. And then, but literally most of them there's trauma behind. And when you smoke weed, you see they're running away from something. Just like gambling, they're running away, even weed, they're running away from something. Even alcohol, they're trying to run away from something. So we need to just do the problem and not run away from it.
So women are more likely to be helped than men.
Of course, they recover even faster.
Oh, they recover.
They recover faster than the men. Yes.
Why is that?
I think it's because of the biology. The biology of a woman is different from the one of the man. If I take alcohol and you take alcohol, you get high fast than me because of your biology. Even when we're in treatment, you recover faster because you have more roles and responsibilities, children and what. A man, when they decide, they've decided. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So for those who are listening and those who want to know, where can they find you, those who are having addictions? Because he works with so many addictions. Can you tell us like a list of addictions? Because some people don't even know they're addicted to sex. They don't even think you can become addicted to sex.
There are many. There are many addictions: alcohol, tobacco, opioids, sedatives. Actually, people take sleeping pills. They need to be careful. They are really addictive. Sex addiction, phones, forex trading, gambling. There are many, but usually because I have 3 offices. So there's one in Bugolovi, which is still Kampala Recovery Foundation. The one of Motungo, Kampala Recovery Foundation. Then the one of Bunamwaya, that is the elderly home. It's still my office, but someone can still see me from there. Okay. And then in Butavika Hospital. So actually those are 4. So someone can find me in any of them. Okay. And then we have treatment. Others, if you go into detail and statistics, you find that many people are affected. There's a mother who came crying in my office. My son, he has many debts, over 50 million. I first paid, he had a date of 30, I paid that money. I thought he had stopped. Then now I hear he has 50 million. So actually I don't know where she ended, because I last had contact 2 years ago. I don't know if she's still alive or not, but she was also depressed. So addiction is not one person's disease. It's now a family problem.
It affects the whole family.
It affects everyone.
So what kind of support can you give a mother like that who she knows her son is having an addiction and, like, I don't know, like how do you support that family as a whole? Do they all come for therapy? What happened?
It's called family therapy, but usually we recommend that put this person into rehab, rehabilitation center, and then you can start from there. Have family sessions, many of them, and they get better usually. But as I told you, addiction has no cure. There is no medication that I'll give you, and this medication is going to make you stop gambling. It's not there.
So how does someone completely come out of
psychotherapy or naturalization? But usually psychotherapy works.
Are there people who never stop gambling even after the therapies, everything?
100%. Yeah. When we are here, we have to speak facts. We're not with doctors. Some people don't stop. Yeah. Even after going through rehab and therapy, they don't stop.
But there are people who come and then they completely change their lives.
Yes. These people who don't stop there. The minority.
They're smaller percentage.
Yes, a smaller part, but most of them they stop.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to ask because usually when it comes to alcohol, they say you have to accept your problem, and then when you accept is when you will be able to start changing. Does that have anything, like, is it true that you must accept so that you can start changing, or even if you accept, you can still continue on the path of addiction?
I'll give you an example on HIV. If someone is being checked and you tell them you have HIV and they say, no, I don't have it. So what's the use of the medication? So you have to accept that, okay, I have a problem and I need help. And actually with gambling, we are trying to set up a team called the Gambling Anonymous in the country, whereby these big gamblers can meet and discuss how can we go about it when we are not there. Because I'm not a gambling person who's addicted to gambling, but those people can help each other get out of the gambling.
Won't they instead give each other tips on where to go for big?
No. It's about, if it is the Gambling Anonymous, it is the people who have gotten better treating others. So it's like peer counseling.
I understand. Like if you have HIV, you've been through all that. Actually, I think you would be more effective because you've been through it. Okay, I understand.
So me who has not reached that level, I can maybe guide them, but I can't have that experience, that the touch experience. I don't have it. So this person who has gambled for 30 years can have an experience of how to even get off it.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, that is what I had for today. I thank you viewers for watching. I ask that you support us by liking, subscribing, so that we can continue to give you this kind of information. Thank you, Dr. Ivan, for being here. I will drop his numbers on the screen so that those of you who need to call him can talk to him and seek out help or get advice in case you have someone or you're going through these gambling addiction problems. Thank you for watching.